Yo, what's good with y'all? Today, I've got part 2 of the beginner guide to scripting tutorial series. In this video, we're going to cover services, instances, basic function usage, and more. Before I get into the video though, I want to say thank you to all the people who showed part 1 love. Comments like these really motivate me to want to make more content. Of course, there are more. I just wanted to give these few a shout out. That aside, it's time to get into the video. I hope you enjoy. Alright, first up, we have services. Services let you access built-in functions for common tasks such as selling game passes, teleporting players across servers, and much more. You can access a service by typing game, get service, parentheses, and the name of the service inside of quotation marks. Let's say I wanted to teleport a player to another server. How would I go about doing that? Well, you would first need to retrieve the teleport service. Let's create a local script inside of starter player scripts. Let's go to starter player, open up starter player and starter player scripts, and then we'll insert our local script, right? And delete print hello world as always. We can assign this service to a variable by typing local teleport service is equal to game get service teleport service. As you guys see, whenever you type the name, it gives you, kind of gives you a list because it's in alphabetical order. So if you type A, obviously you'll get ones with A that start with A, B, C, but we want the teleport service, right? Just like that, we have created our first variable that retrieves a service. But this particular variable retrieves the teleport service. We've retrieved the service. Now we need to utilize it. Let's skip two lines and reference the service by typing the name of the variable. Okay, let's press enter twice. Then let's reference the variable, teleport service, and press enter. All right. From there, let's call on the built-in function teleport. So we're gonna do type teleport, right? Make sure you just do regular teleport. As you guys can see right above the parentheses, it tells us what the function does as well as what we need to make it work. All of this stuff right here. Note, these serve as instructions to help you set up the function. Trust me when I say that they are very useful. Believe me when I tell y'all I still use these to this day. Obviously, I know like what the teleport built-in function does, but I'm saying for any other functions that I'm using for the first time, I don't really use a lot. It serves as a refresher or generally just teaches you like, this is what this function does and this is what you have to do to make this function work. If you don't already have a second place within your instance, you can create one by clicking game settings. Let's go back and let's click game settings. Click places and click create. I don't need to since I already created a place, but I mean a second place. But if you guys don't have a second place, just click create and make a second one. Name it whatever you guys want. Okay, first we need a place ID. As you guys can see, if you go back here, it says the first thing we need is a place ID, right? So we can retrieve our place ID by clicking view at the top. From there, select the first icon after properties. This is properties, so after. Double click on places. Oh, sorry. Open up the asset manager, double click on places. So if I go back, then double click on places. And finally, right click on the place you want to teleport to and select copy ID to clipboard. So let's right click. Make sure you click the second place, not the one you're currently in, the second place. So copy ID to clipboard. Close the asset manager and paste the ID in the parentheses followed by a comma. So let's close it. We can paste it by doing Control V or just left clicking up here. And then we're gonna put a comma after it, and then you can put a space, up to y'all. The last thing we need to do is retrieve the player's instance. As you guys can see, player instance, the player to teleport. We can do that by typing game.players.localPlayer, which, as you guys see, if you're using a local script, because remember client equals player. So if we're using a local script, we can just get it by doing game.players.localPlayer, right? All right, we're ready to test it, but wait, we can't teleport to other servers in Studio. If you're interested to know why you can't, just search it up. You guys will definitely understand why you're not able to. That means we're going to have to publish our changes That means we're gonna have to publish our changes by clicking File in the top left, and make sure you select Publish to Roblox. The file, scroll down to Publish to Roblox, right? Boom. Once you see the Publish Changes to Roblox message, we can move on to testing. If you got a fail to publish to Roblox message, don't worry. Just try to publish it again and it should work. With their changes made public, let's test our game. We can head to the Roblox website. And click Create at the top. Select the experience you've been using and click on View on Roblox. This will take you to the game page, just like a normal game. Let's click the play button and see if the teleport works. Alright, so we're gonna load up the game. It should take a second since we're creating a server, since obviously no other servers would be existing. Alright. Give it a second, let's wait, and boom, there we go. Alright, as you can see, we were teleported to our second place. There we go. Next up, we have instances. Instance is the base of all classes in Roblox. An instance can be a script, a part, a player, and much more. Instance has a very useful function called instance.new. This function lets you create a new instance as well as modify the properties of said instance. Oh, that reminds me. Let's talk about property manipulation since we're on the topic of instances. Property manipulation is when you change an instance's properties via a script. Properties are the characteristics of an instance. Things such as color, position, name, and size are a few examples of properties. When you think properties, just literally think the characteristics of people, like your eye color, your skin color, how tall are you, how much do you weigh, things like that. Let's return to Studio and delete the local script. Go ahead and delete it by right-clicking and press delete, or you could just select the script and press the delete key on your keyboard. And let's create a server script and place it in server script service. So we can close out starter player and then insert a server script into server script service. Let's create a variable and name it part. So let's delete print hello world as always. Let's create a new part by saying local variable name. So local part is equal to instance.new in parentheses and quotation marks. Inside the quotation marks, type part and press enter. This will create a part. However, we won't see the part in workspace because we haven't assigned it to a parent. For example, if I were to press run right now, you guys will not see a part created in workspace. If I open up workspace, you guys do not see a part created in workspace, right? This is because it hasn't been assigned to a parent yet. There are two ways to assign an instance to a parent. You can put a comma next to part, then reference the parent. In this case, we want the part to be parented to the workspace, so let's put game.workspace. So you would go right here, put comma, then do game.workspace. And then if we click run this time, we'll see it. If I open up the workspace, that's weird. I don't know why it's not local part game.workspace. Game.workspace. Weird why it's not working. Maybe I have to click play. That might be why. No. Oh, there. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I know why. I know why. Okay. All right. So the reason why it's not working is pretty much because one, I think where it's spawning, it's pretty much falling through the map. Because if you guys were paying attention, you would see it there. Like, how do I explain this? Okay. So pretty much it spawns, since we didn't set its position, it spawns at a default location, and then if that default location is say under the base plate, it'll fall through the map, then get destroyed by the void, right? Plus we didn't anchor it, so it's not set to stay a certain stay in a certain position. So this is perfect. I can show you guys property manipulation. First, let me set the position. So let me do part dot position is equal to game.workspace.spawn location.position, as well as let me anchor it, or let me make that the first thing I do. Let me do part.anchored is equal to true, right? So then let me now run and let me test it now. Yep, there you go. Okay, now it's there. There we go. That was the problem. Now you guys will see part in the workspace. There you go, right? Oh yeah, that's on. I'm honestly glad that happened because yeah, honestly, I forgot to mention that. That yeah, make sure if you're creating a part, make sure it is anchored and you set the position so that it doesn't fall through the map. But yeah, that's the first way. That's the first. Well, actually, I just showed you guys both ways actually. So the first way you can set the parent is just by doing it right here, game.workspace. You can also do it by changing the property, by setting the property, right? So if we were to say delete this part, and then we set part.parent is equal to game.workspace, it would do the same thing. If I click run, you guys will see the part right there. Boom. All we did was just set it on an actual line. I personally prefer doing it the first way I showed you guys, but that's just me. One, it saves you time because instead of writing a whole extra line, you just do comma, then reference it. But you guys can choose whichever one works best for y'all. But congrats, you guys have just created your first instance. You guys will definitely need to use instance.new a lot. So definitely, like, if you don't understand, you can rewatch parts of the video, ask a question in the comments, and I got y'all. Next up, we have if statements. If statements are conditional statements. The following lines of code will only run if the conditions are met. If I were to type, say if I were to type 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, then print it does. It would work since 3 plus 3 is in fact equal to 6. However, if I changed 6 to 5, it wouldn't print due to the conditions not being met. So let me just go ahead and just let me just show you guys this. You guys can, visually see it. So if I delete all this, and then I do if 3 plus 3 is, make sure you put 2 equal signs, right? Oh, by the way, just to kind of clear this up, if you don't understand the difference between 2 equal signs and 1 equal sign. So with 2 equal signs, you're pretty much checking that means you're checking the value of something. 1 equal sign means you're more so setting the value of something, if that makes sense. So if 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, right? I press enter, by the way. Then print 6 is, I'm gonna say 6 is the answer, right? Now this will work because 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. Keep in mind that Roblox is kind of like a calculator, so it can figure that stuff out. But yeah, so of course it'll print that, right? Let's say you wanted to check. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot. So if I change 6 to 5, it wouldn't print due to the condition not being met. This obviously will print because the condition is met. However, if I change it to 5, it will not print because 3 plus 3 is not equal to 5. I hope all y'all know that. Let's say you wanted to check one condition, and if that one condition isn't met, it moves on to check another condition. If you only have one or the other condition, as in it can only be one of two things, you can use an if/else statement. It will first check to see if the first condition is met. If it is not, it will then run whatever is after the else statement. We can pretty much do this by doing, so say if 3 plus 3 is equal to 5, then print 6 is the answer, right? We can put else, we skip a line and do else, right? So if this condition is not met, then it'll do whatever we have right here. Print anything else, I guess, right? Obviously, since 3 plus 3 is not equal to 5, it will say anything else. However, if I set the first condition to true, because remember, it goes in order. If the first condition is true, it will only print the first thing. 6 is the answer because the first condition was already met. So there's no need to proceed to the else line. Maybe you want to check for multiple specific conditions. You can use if/else if statements. If the previous statement's conditions are not met, it will continue to run until a statement's conditions are met. Now this is a little different. Else if pretty much means you're checking if the first condition isn't met, then you're checking the next condition, right? But the next line will only run if the next condition is true. So say else if 3 plus 3 is equal to 5. Let's try again, right? Then this neither will work because 3 plus 3 is not. Oh, sorry, I forgot I had this one equal. The first one will work, of course, because 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. But say if I change this to 4, we'll go with 3, right? If I change this to 3, neither of them will print, right? Because 3 plus 3 is not 3, nor is it 5. However, if I changed the second else if statement from 5 to 6, it would work. because since the first statement's conditions weren't met, it checks the second, and since the second one was met, then anything else, it prints that. Let's say you wanted to check if one condition is met, and if that condition isn't met, it will check another. This is a little different from using else statements. For this, you would put if 1 plus 1 is equal to 3, or 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Then, if the first condition is not met, it will check to see if the other one is met. Only one of the conditions has to be met in order to proceed to the next line. Okay, so definitely I want to visually show you guys, because I know with the wording it might sound a little confusing. So if I delete this part right here, right? So say if 3 plus 3 is equal to 3, right? That's obviously not true. Then I put or, right? Or as you can see in red, or 3 plus 2 is equal to 5, right? It pretty much will check the first one. If the first one if the first one's conditions are not met, it will then check the second one. If the second one's conditions are met, it will proceed. If the first conditions are met, it won't check the second one. It'll just proceed. This is pretty much like, okay, if the first condition doesn't work, isn't met, then if the second condition is met, we're good to go. So if I were to put print, it works, it's going to work. The first condition wasn't met, however, the second condition was met. As you can see, it works. Lastly, we have and, which is similar to or, which is, remember, or is what we just used, which is right here. Let's say you wanted to check if two conditions were met. You could say if 3 plus 3 equals 6 and 2 plus 2 equals 4. We could change this to and, right? And then say we could do and 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, right? In order to proceed to the next line. Okay, so since only one of these is right and this one is wrong, this won't work because we're doing and. They both have to be right. Both conditions have to be met. So obviously nothing's going to print. However, if 3 plus 3 is changed to 6, 3 plus 3 is obviously equal to 6, and 2 plus 2 is obviously equal to 4. So then it'll work. With and, both conditions have to be met. With or, only one of the conditions has to be met. That's the difference between the two. Definitely important to know that because you are most definitely going to need to use those. A while loop is similar to an if statement. While a certain condition is met, the loop will continue to infinitely run until the condition is no longer met. Note, make sure you put a wait inside of a while loop. If you're not careful, you could cause immense lag for players. You could literally crash the server if you use while loops wrong, because you can definitely cause performance to mess up and stuff. If you're testing in studio, you could literally crash studio if you're not careful when using while loops. So make sure you put a wait or some type of cooldown. Let's create a variable and set its value equal to true. Okay, let's delete this. Let's create a variable. So say local variable is equal to true, right? Then let's skip 2 lines and create a while variable name is equal to true do, wait 1 second, print the value is true, right? So let's do this. While variable is equal to true, do print the value is true, followed by a wait 1 second, right? But wait 1 after it. Keep in mind, in wait, it's by seconds. You can change that time depending on whatever it is you're trying to do. If we press run, the script will continue to print the value is true, and the opposite is the condition is met. If I go ahead and press run every 1 second, it'll continue saying the value is true over and over again, because the value will continue to be true since the value will not change. While loops run infinitely. I would show you guys what would happen if you didn't use a wait, but honestly, I don't want to make Crash Studio. I honestly don't know. If you guys want to see what it does, it won't crash you. It won't yeah, never mind. Let me not even say that, because I don't know what it would do if you have a not so good computer. Just avoid not using a wait. But yeah. Lastly, we have built-in functions. Built-in functions are functions created by Roblox in order to help you handle basic tasks, as I mentioned earlier. The teleport function we used at the beginning of the video was a built-in function. 3 of the most common types that you will use on a daily basis are mouse button 1 click, triggered, and touched. Mouse button 1 click is triggered by a player clicking on a UI UI text slash image button. Triggered is a function that is triggered by a player activating a proximity prompt. Touched is as the name implies, a function that is triggered whenever something in the workspace comes into contact with a part. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys understand what the mouse button click and touch do. If you don't understand what triggered does by proximity prompt, like if you don't know what I'm talking about, believe me, you'll understand what I mean when I show you what a proximity prompt is. I guarantee all of you have seen it, you just probably didn't know the name of it. So let's first create a part. We can go ahead and delete this script in server-script service. We don't need this anymore. So let's first create a part just the regular way, not via a script. We can clear out the output as well. Let's create a part, right? And let's place a server script inside of it. Go ahead and insert a server script and delete print hello world as always. We can type script.parent.touched connect function hit in parentheses. Let's go ahead and do this. So script.parent.touched connect function in parentheses, put hit, right? Followed by print the part has been touched. Let's put print the part has been touched. Let's also recall your newly learned knowledge regarding if statements. Let's make it so that the function is only triggered by players touching it. Let's go right here, press enter. Let's type if hit dot parent find first child humanoid, then followed by a print statement. So if hit dot parent colon find first child parentheses quotation marks humanoid, and then just skip a line after print, then put end, right? And without a parenthesis, just a regular end. Sorry guys, I got lost for a second. Followed by a print statement. Now the function will only be triggered by NPC/players, because if you guys don't know, NPCs also have humanoids, but for the most part, it should only be triggered by players and stuff, depending on what your game has. Let's also insert a proximity prompt into the part. We can go ahead and insert a proximity prompt right there. Then on the same script, we are going to type script.parent. We're going to type, let's skip 2 lines and let's do script. This would be a little different. We're going to do script.parent.proximity prompt.triggered connect function close parentheses enter, right? And then in the following line, we're going to put print the prompt has been triggered. So print the prompt has been triggered, right? So say if you wanted to take it a little further, you wanted to know what was the username of the player who triggered the prompt. So inside, if you look, just as I explained before with built-in functions, it gives you the details. This is more so of like telling you what will return. Connects the given function the player who triggered it. So you can put PLR, right? The prompt has been triggered. Say we put by, no, put dot. That's how you separate strings. Player dot name. And then it'll say the prompt has been triggered by the player, and then they followed by the username. Lastly, let's insert a screen GUI. We'll put that in, of course, starter GUI. Let's insert a screen GUI. Where is it? Oh, well, let's just type it screen GUI. And we'll insert a text button to the GUI, followed by a local script into the text button. So we'll insert a text button, followed by a local script. We'll type script.parent.mouse button 1 click connect function, followed by print the button has been clicked. So let's do script.parent.mouse button 1 click connect function close parentheses, then enter. Then we're going to do print the button has been clicked, right? Now let's click play. Go ahead and click play, right? We can click the text button. So if I click the text button, the button has been clicked. Trigger the prompt. Let me go over. Now you guys will see what I'm talking about. Yes. Now I know you guys have seen this before. Like, especially like when you walk up to NPCs, you guys should now understand. Y'all should be, the oh moment should be happening. Like, oh, okay, this is what it means by proximity prompt, right? Then if I trigger by holding down, or not even holding down, because it only takes, because I didn't set an actual time for you to hold it down. But yeah, just press E. The prompt has been triggered by SpyG19. I forgot to put a space right here. I should have put a space right here to separate the word by my username, but as you guys can see, it gets the job done. And then we can also walk on the part. Then it'll say the part has been touched. And then multiple times, obviously, because, you know, I took multiple steps on it. You should see 3 print statements in the output menu. If you do, congrats on making it this far. I know learning how to script is draining and possibly even confusing, but don't worry. It gets easier the more you practice. If you guys are confused on anything or have any questions, leave them down below in the comments and I'll reply as soon as I can. You guys can either leave them in the comments or you can join my Discord server where I have a channel. I have a channel specifically for helping people. Honestly, I would honestly prefer if you guys join the Discord server because you can actually put screenshots of, you know, like whatever it is you're doing. And yeah, honestly, that's really it. You can just show pictures and stuff because on YouTube you can't send screenshots or anything. So it just makes it much more useful. Or we can get into VC and I can help y'all and stuff. But anyway, though, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.